Up next on Phantom TV, it is a brand new edition of Phantom Focus. On today's show, Ellie Chittick meets with Dr. Fegley to discuss progress on the district budget, recent fundraisers, and record-setting events, as well as an overview of the middle school year thus far. All that and more starts right now.
Welcome to the show, Dr. Fegley.
Thank you so much, Ellie. It's great to be here again.
Yeah, good to have you today.
Hope you had a great spring break.
I did. I went to Florida with the choir.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was a very successful trip.
Was it? Good. Waiting to hear all the awards and everything else that you all won down there.
Yeah. We had a number of events in the district over the past month. I just want to list a few of them and get your thoughts and impressions. We'll start with the March 12th game of knockout. Did we set the record?
Great question. It was a wonderful event run by Mr. Kelly. Did an incredible job of organizing it along with Mrs. Claus and a number of others. We had enough folks there to set the record. So I believe we set the record, but what we're waiting for is confirmation from the Guinness Book of World Records to see whether or not we did. We met all their requirements and did everything exactly the way they wanted to. But it was a great community event starting early on that Saturday morning, and it was fun to watch the final 5 to 10 sit there and battle it out to see who would be the top knockout champion.
There was also the Spring Spectacular.
Yes, always a great show, the Spring Spectacular. And that's being followed up by Les Mis here at the high school in 2 weeks, I believe.
Yeah,
on April 7th is the opening night.
Yeah, 7th through the 9th.
Yeah, so looking forward to that show as much as the Spring Spectacular. Where middle schoolers just do a really great job of pulling it off.
There was a lot of talent this year.
Oh, great deal, yeah.
On the same night, we had the PCEF Winter Gala and the high school's MiniThon. How did both of those events turn out?
From what I'm hearing, both went very, very well. I was at both. The PCEF one first and then showed up briefly for the MiniThon. PCEF, I am understanding that they raised in gross over $120,000. I know at one point they did a bidding piece and they raised over $17,000 for STEAM programs. That's science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics programs here in the district. So very successful event. And from what I understand, the MiniThon raised more money than it has ever raised, with raising over $15,000 to help children with cancer. So another very successful event.
The Math 24 event, and also give our viewers who may not be familiar a review of what that is. Math
24 is an incredibly fun event. These 4th and 5th grade students do math problems in their head faster than I can put down the card. On a card, you have 4 numbers, and you have to figure out, using addition, multiplication, subtraction, and addition. I said addition twice, didn't I? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. How to get that to sum up to 24. And so they look at those 4 numbers and they quickly come up with how it comes to sum to 24. And then the one with the most points moves on to some of the next rounds. Our students last year in the competition, when we went to Chester County, they took all of the top 5 places. So this group of students has a huge weight on their shoulders as they go forward, but I'm very confident that they'll do well. I was fortunate enough to be the oversight person and one of the tables where our 2nd place winner overall last year was present, and she did an incredible job. I think she cleaned up the table with almost all the cards. Oh my goodness. So I can't wait to see how she does it when she gets to the county-wide competition, and there will be a statewide competition this year in Math 24. So I'm expecting to see her and the others do outstanding work.
There was also a large turnout for the presentation of the former NBA basketball player, Chris Herren.
There was. What a powerful story he had about his trail, I guess is the best way to put it, with substance abuse, and how easily he went down that trail and that path, and how hard it has been for him to recover from it, and what he gave up in the process, and now what he's trying to regain. Very powerful message for parents and for students. I was very pleased that the high school, Great Valley and Phoenixville, worked together along with a number of community organizations to bring Chris Herren here to the community. Very glad so many came. I wish more had come, but very glad, and hopefully we'll be able to have him come back in a couple of years.
Yes, he had a very positive impact on a lot of the students.
Yeah, very powerful, and I think you're right. It was a positive message that at the same time, while very powerful.
Yes. I know you were also in the process of hammering out the budget for next school year.
Right.
Where does that process stand right now?
Sure. So there's two areas that we're looking at. One is the state level and one is the district level. At the district level, we've had approximately 5 meetings so far where we've been discussing the budget. Right now, the overall increase, projected increase, could be somewhere in the area of about 2.3%. I believe it will be lowered some more as we go through the next level, as we get some more information, both from our bondholders and some from other folks as to what we really need is to put into the budget. We're hoping to get below 2% for this year's current budget increase, which is good. I mean, last year we had a 0% tax increase, which everyone generally likes. Not something you can keep doing every year after year, but we're looking forward to it. Hopefully we can get closer to that. At the state has officially enacted a budget, I guess is the best way to put it. The legislature sent a second piece to Governor Wolf. Governor Wolf, in his own words, said he doesn't believe in the budget that was sent to him, but he's allowing it to go through. So he's allowing the budget to go through without signing the budget. So he's basically saying, here's the budget, although I'm not signing it. But interestingly, what he did is he vetoed the fiscal bill part of the budget, which means he vetoed the spending and how the money is to be spent. So right now there's a lot of discussion, I guess I'll say, as to by the Democrats and the Republicans as to whether or not that money is allowed to be spent, and that is the money above and beyond what was initially allocated in 2014-15. So at this point, as a district, we're planning on only seeing the amount of money from the state that we saw in 14-15, both this year and really for the 16-17 school year. Because the other end of the challenge that the state is facing is that they have somewhere between a $2 and $6 billion deficit, as reported by Standard & Poor's and Moody's. So I'm trying to keep it, at the higher levels. And so Standard & Poor's and Moody's are saying there's still a structural deficit in the budget that was passed. So as a district, we believe that we need to be conservative, or certainly that's what Mr. Johnson and I are going to be recommending to the board, to be conservative and only anticipate funds from the 14-15, as allocated from 14-15 for the 16-17 school year. Hopefully, we will be wrong, and hopefully they will have a real budget, and I say a real budget, a budget for 16-17 very, very soon passed, so that we can put those numbers into our school budget and hopefully lower the tax increase. But as of this point, we don't see that that's a real possibility given the deficits that are still out there and the lack of a fiscal spending plan.
Spring sports are off to a great start. So we have some new coaches. Any other changes or items that you'd like to note?
Yeah, well, as you said, Ellie, we have 2 new coaches. Neil Herren in baseball and Colin Shaw in boys lacrosse. Looking forward to both of those sports growing and talking to Mr. Junta, the athletic director activities and athletic director for the district. He says our spring sports numbers are up in almost every single sport.
Wow.
In track alone, at the high school level, we have 120 folks that went out for track, which is an incredible number. Of that group, 12 are actually have already qualified for the Penn Relays. So we have 12 going to the Penn Relays already, looking forward to maybe a couple more being able to qualify to get off to the Penn Relays. And our lacrosse program is in a great rebuilding year. It's had the most young men involved that we've had to date. And so we're looking forward to that program rebuilding and again continue to grow our baseball and girls lacrosse and our girls softball programs.
I want to talk a little bit about the new schedule for the high school for next year.
Sure.
What are some key highlights from that, and why is the change being made?
Sure. Well, why don't we start with your last part of the question, the change. I believe it was in January, the high school faculty and administration came and talked to me saying that they were interested in changing the high school schedule for next school year. It was a great show of collaboration between the faculty and the administration. What the schedule does is it keeps our buses coming in at the same time, so we're not changing busing schedules overall. There's always going to be little tweaks in the bus's schedule, so pick-up and drop-offs may change a little bit, but it's not the overall drop-off time for students. But what we have now is they've been able to increase the number of minutes in each period. and do some other tweaks that allow for the schedule, I think, to be improved. So we'll be increasing instructional time by approximately 2 weeks by the time you add up all those minutes throughout the entire year, and hopefully allow students to have a little bit longer to eat lunch as well, because the lunch time is now going to be embedded within a period. So instead of having a 4th period class, and right now you have period 4A, 4B, 5A, 5B, all those messy things, you'll have straight periods. So in period 4, you will have a lunch period, or period 5, you'll have a lunch. The other part it does is allows us to add an additional lunch to the schedule, so we now have 4 lunch periods, which will be good. So instead of having one really, really large lunch, which we have now, and then 2 kind of crowded lunches, we should have 4 much more evenly spaced lunches.
I think the students will adapt very well to that schedule.
Good.
Speaking of schedules, let's talk about the school calendar for next year. I know you're working with that as well. So the first day of school will be around
August 29th, and the last day of school will be June 9th.
Wow.
The calendar for next year is actually posted on the web. It was approved by the board in December.
Yeah.
To find it, you need to go over to the right-hand side of our web page and go down to quick links, and you'll see both the 15-16 calendar and the 16-17 school calendar. So part of what we were trying to do in planning the schedule is for next year have school end as early in June as we could, because we're going to be opening up the new Early Learning Center and elementary school in the 17-18 school year. So we needed as long of a summer as possible in order to move all the equipment over from both East Pikeland, the K Center, and all the elementary schools, first grades, elementary schools, move all that equipment over to the new Early Learning Center and elementary school. So we're excited about the schedule. It is up there. It is posted for all to see and figure out.
Is there any other main items that you'd like to note, such as spring break or the number of snow days?
Well, as always, we have 3 snow days built in to the school calendar. If we need more, they do come from the spring break time, as they have in the past. Spring break is compressed again next year, and again, that was done because we really needed to get out by June 9th in order to put in this new school, get the new school up and running.
For this segment, we'd like to get back to highlighting a specific school in the district. For this segment, we'd like to talk about the middle school.
Okay. Let's see. Well, as you said, the Spring Spectacular was actually very spectacular and it's going along well. It went very well. They have a large number of concerts coming up in the near future. In addition, at the middle school, they have a lot of students who have gone out for sports again. And so we're excited about that. I think in their track team, they have 80 students that have gone out. So that's really huge when you consider that's only 2 grade levels. But it's a great building ground for what what we'll need as they come up to high school. So we have outstanding teams at the high school level. Some other highlights: in December, we had a large number of 8th graders take the Algebra 1 Keystone exam. From that exam, we had 99% of them passed at the proficient or advanced proficient level. So they did very, very well. We're looking for our next group of 8th graders who will be taking that exam in the spring time, and hoping for the same results coming from them as they take that exam. So we have that, and then also, as always, the middle school has a number of fun trips planned for the end of the year. The band and all those groups are going to be heading up to Hershey Park for their annual trip, and the 7th grade has their annual trip to Philadelphia, so a lot of great fun trips coming up for the middle school students.
Upcoming events: this Saturday, the district is hosting the Martin Luther King Jr. Player Breakfast. Tell us about this event and why you think it's important that the district is to be a part of it.
Sure. This is an event that the district has been part of for a large number of years. Students are asked to write essays on the importance of an event in Martin Luther King's life. Some people sit there and say, why around this time and not back when it was MLK Day?
Yeah.
Well, the reason is this is around his birthday.
Oh.
So it's a celebration of his birthday. So I do believe it's an important event because we are always looking for how can we sit there and celebrate the diversity and the rich diversity that we have here in the Phoenixville Area School District. It is a tremendous district that I find honors its diversity and actually thrives and grows on the diversity within the community. So that's part of the main reason I think it's important that we as a district be part of this breakfast.
Also on Saturday, the Fit Kids Fest
yes.
is taking place in the middle school gym. Can you share some information with parents and the community?
Sure. I believe that it's running from 9 o'clock until noon or 1 o'clock. It is a Fit Fest for elementary students. All the elementary physical education teachers get together and put this great event together. They have food there. They talk about healthy eating. They show how to do some exercises, how to stretch and be, just run a healthy, fit life. It's a great time. I would encourage all in the community, whether you attend the Phoenixville Area School District schools or go to a private or charter school, but you're in the district, please come and check out this event. It's a great time to learn about how to be physically fit as a youngster and how to eat healthy as a youngster.
Sounds like a great event.
It is. It is.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much for having me. It was my pleasure to be here today, Ellie.